Why was it necessary for there to be a persistence energy in all things? And this is a question we cannot easily answer. Oh, we have theories, but we cannot answer. We don't know why it occurred. Why should there be an is? Why should there be a be? Why should there be a be? Why should there be an is? When prior to that, there was nothing. Simply nothing. This question, why should there be an is? Why should there be a be? This is the question that has plagued the conscious human mind since it became aware of its existence. The initial energy of persistence is not to be ignored. The initial energy of persistence is the energy that powers every last thing that we call existence. Where it came from, you can call it God, you can call it something else, but the plain fact is our brains have not evolved to the point where we can understand why there is and is, and we may never understand it. Elisa then asked, well, why do we see all these varied forms of life and energy all over us everywhere we go and everything we see? Why? Why is it everywhere? The Guru again smiled with a deep, expansive smile. His eyes twinkled. He said, well, when you think of the concept of persistence, it is the essence of being. To be, you must persist. He said, once that energy has been released in sufficient quantities into the emptiness of nothingness, it then must find expression. The energy, the karmic energy of persistence, that initial karmic persistence energy, wherever it came from, had to find expression. If it did not find expression, then it would not be persistent. Then it would not be an is, and there would be nothing. So therefore, it had to find expression in some form that would allow it to persist. Since persistence is the command and the mandate of that energy, wherever it came from, it must find expression. Every last thing you see, no matter where it is a matter of persistence. It balances itself with nothingness, the negative and the positive, the non and the is. Throughout all things, there are constantly leading towards balance, because the universe and all things seek a balance between is and isn't. That's it, between negative and positive. And they miss sometimes. And when imbalances occur that are too great, then other remedial steps are taken by the energies of the universe to fix that imbalance. This is the natural world. But the energies of persistence, these are what find expression in leaves, in atoms, in people themselves. So why does the karmic persistence energy make leaves? Why does the karmic persistence energy, wherever it came from, produce flowers? Why does the karmic persistence energy produce atoms that come together in the form of a door, or in the form of a pizza, or in the form of a cow? Why? The Guru smiled again. Well, it is the human mind that asks why. The karmic energy of persistence asks not why, only says to itself, what do I need to do to persist, to continue to be? And so it experiments all kinds of little atomic forms, all kinds of energy persistence, balancing acts. Everywhere you go, atoms are attempting to balance with one another. The karmic energy of persistence against the karmic energy of nothingness. It's a balancing act. And when persistence finds something that works, it expands upon that. It essentially says, this kind of substance will allow me to continue to exist and persist. So this is a good one. So an oak leaf catches the sun in just the right way, and it's part of a tree that's rooted to water and soil, and it receives sunlight, and through the random acts of attempting to persist, it found that a sunlight-water-soil combo would allow it to persist. And once a thing persists, then what's the ultimate form of persistence? And Elisa thought about it, and then she said, reproduction? That's right. So once a thing has successfully persisted on this earth through random experimentation, or in all of the universe too, I suspect, once that has occurred and it's proven itself to be able to persist, then it takes the final step of persistence, which is built in, that allows it to reproduce. And those persistent structures in the universe that not only survive, but can go beyond that to the next level of persistence, to reproduce, they're the ones who get to meet the objective of persistence the best by continuing to reproduce themselves. You might say, the great guru stated, that this removes the divinity from our existence. But if you think deeply enough, you recognize the divinity is still there. And it is in the form of the question that we have that will never have an answer. Namely, why did that initial energy of persistence, that initial is, that initial being, that initial be on the canvas of nothingness, why did it occur? Why did it occur? And we will never know that answer. We will not know that answer. As long as we are in these sentient human forms, we may never know. We may never know. And in there is the mystery. And there, if you wish to use the word, is the divinity as well. Because why would there be that initial energy that has exploded into so many magnificent forms? Why? Elisa thought about all this, digesting every word that the Kamiguru was giving her. And finally, she responded. And finally she said, is it not a part of the law of the universe and the law of existence that for every A there is a B, for every black there is a white, for everything there is an opposite? And the Guru said, yes. And Elisa said, well, if for everything there's a natural law that says there must be an opposite, why is it illogical for there to be an initial karmic energy of persistence? Is that not the opposite of nothingness? And isn't it natural for nothingness to evolve a something? The Guru smiled again. You're a very, very wise young girl, aren't you? Well, I'll explain it to you. You are correct. It is logical for there to be an is if there is an is not. It is indeed part of the natural laws of the universe, that for everything there is an opposite. But what you have to do then, when you've admitted this and you've acknowledged this, is to ask, how? How did such a law, how did such a balancing requirement occur? How was it created? Who created it? How was it created? Why does it exist? Why must there be balance? And this then takes you right back to the mystery of all things, you see. Elisa was silent for a very long time. The Guru had a very contented, gentle look upon his face. Elisa digested everything he had said. Finally, the great Guru said to her, I sense that this is not a satisfying answer for you, but just keep in mind, it is not the answers that matter. It is the questions. We will evolve, we will come closer to the truth by continually asking questions. And that is something we can count on humankind to do forever. And if you still feel a need for God, well, think about this. Whatever it is that created the laws of the universe, that led to the need for a persistence energy to counterbalance nothingness, is an immense, unknowable power beyond anything the human mind at this stage of development can understand. There, if you seek a God of logic, there is where you will find him, in that place of the unknown, and you will access it only by the questions you ask. Elisa smiled. Finally, she understood. So you were saying that our journey is one of questioning and coming closer to knowing the source of all things, God, if you will. To this, the Guru smiled, a deep, rich, warm smile, warmer than any other. And he said in a very comforting voice, yes, my child, that is the destiny of the spiritual seeker, and it may be yours as well. Throughout the remainder of the day, Elisa enjoyed some lovely natural foods, vegetarian foods, enjoyed some chanting, some mantra chanting, and some lovely music from the old country in India. And after spending several hours at the sanctuary, she turned to her guests, to her hosts, and said, thank you for giving me such a wonderful experience. Thank you for your hospitality. And they all cheered her and said, good luck, and come back again sometime. And Elisa left gazing at all the acolytes and devotees, and the beautiful architecture and the painting and all of the lovely things. And as she walked away, she thought to herself, yes, I am limited by this body, this mind, these emotions, this memory, this machine of my body that houses my memory and my emotions and my intellect. He says, I'm limited by it. But now I know that at the very least I can ask the right questions if I try.